Welcome to the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about as a debit card user, you need to be aware of these things. The existence of a debit card has now become something that cannot be separated from our daily lives. A debit card is a type of card that can be used as means of payment when shopping at stores that accept debit card payments. Currently, it can be said that every ATM card issued by a bank also functions as a debit card. It is called a debit card because every time you transact using this card, it will automatically reduce or debit your savings balance. How to use a debit card is similar to a credit card, namely by swiping or inserting it into an electronic data capture machine. Currently, the use of debit cards has become commonplace as an alternative to cash or even preferred over credit cards because it does not make users owe money to banks. However, although reducing dependence on credit cards is a positive thing, the use of debit cards has its own risks that must be watched out for. Check out what things to watch out for when you use a debit card. First one is prone to abuse. Unlike credit cards, if your debit card changes hands to someone else and that person forges your signature or somehow finds out the card's PIN, he or she can freely spend your own money instead of the bank's money. Why? Because the use of a debit card automatically debits or reduces your savings balance. Unlike credit cards, which allow transactions using the credit card to be cancelled, and you do not need to spend money to pay for the transaction if it's proven that you, as the legal owner, is not using it and it was used by someone else, you will get your money back. You will not get this advantage if you use debit cards. Second, there is no guarantee from the bank. Debit cards can indeed be used to make purchases online, just like credit cards. However, there are things to watch out for when using a debit card for online shopping transactions in cyberspace. Namely, if you buy an item but it turns out that when the item arrives in your hands it doesn't match the promised specifications or is a counterfeit, and when you want to request the clarification turn out that the seller had already disappeared. If you purchased it using a credit card, you can usually report your case to your credit card issuing company, and you won't have to pay the bill from the transaction before the dispute is resolved. But with a debit card, it's the same as paying with cash. The bank is not responsible for the transactions made with your debit card, and you will not get your money back. Third, a lot of fees. Debit cards are practical and easy, but keep in mind that the bank charges a number of fees, which although one by one is relatively small, but if added up, it can be quite large. Depending on your bank and the type of savings you choose, you may be charged a fee if you use your debit card for a certain number of transactions in a month. Or there is another fee if you withdraw cash at an ATM machine other than the bank that issued your debit card. Fourth, has no effect on your credit history. The use of debit cards does have a number of advantages over credit cards. Among others, by using a debit card, it means that we do not own the bank. However, while you may not have to rely on debt or credit card loans to pay for monthly groceries or gas, for example, you may need a loan for larger purchases such as a house or car. Using a credit card is one of the easiest ways for you to build a solid credit history so you can prove yourself as a promising borrower when you apply for a larger loan. The use of a debit card will not provide this benefit. Fifth, there is a daily limit. Although practical in use, debit cards usually have limits on daily usage, which means you may not be able to make very large purchases using a debit card. So first make sure what the maximum daily limit for your debit card is before you use it to make purchases. Indeed, debit cards make your shopping activities more practical because you don't have to carry a lot of money in your wallet. Paying with a debit card will allow you to always pay in the right amount. However, you still have to be aware of the things I've mentioned when using your debit card.